Hey viewers, it's been quite a while since I've done any video, and it's been a while since you've seen me. I'm working on another project. Well, here's a picture of what it used to look like, or it looked like stock. So that's what it looks like, or looked like, and the guy that I'm building it for wants a cafe racer. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've done. I haven't done any videoing, just too busy. I haven't gone out and done any metal detecting for my metal detecting viewers, so let me show you what I got going on here and some of the other stuff I picked up recently. So that's its current stage. Let me give you an idea of what I've done so far on a few things. Obviously I cut the rear section of the frame off here completely from there to there, and I bought a hoop instead of trying to bend one because it's much easier since it fits the seat. Seat style that'll go on this is that type of seat. And what I did with all the electronics is I built a little tray underneath the seat. I'll set my seat down. Mounted all the electronics in here. Haven't wrapped all the wiring. What this is for the tail light. I haven't done any modification to it, as it will possibly be shortened. I'll probably put a little protected little cutout here for the wires to go through, stay under the seat, and hide them nice as possible. Planning on doing LEDs, so I got an adjustable, just like I did on the other 500. It has an adjustment pod right in the middle there. It's the dead centerpiece, so that you can adjust it to where LEDs will flash without just sitting there. What else have I done? So I got a new set of shocks to go on it. I moved the ignition down to this point, took it off the triple clamp. Normally it mounts right here, and this one's getting clip-ons. I got the front end apart right now. I just rebuilt the forks last night, and I just finished doing this. Right here, let me show you on the other 500. I got the cover off of it. It normally has a raise. Can't really see it there, but right in here, it raises up and then it's curved out to the bottom part of the bars. You can kind of see that. What I ended up doing is I cut it off and then made it flush, and the holes go clear through. So I've stuck these button head cap screws on there. I've still got to do a little more sanding to get the cross marks out of here before paint. And let me take the tank off here and I'll show you the wiring that I did for the ignition, because it turned out really well. Okay, so I made these little straps to hold the original ignition in here and mounted them to one of the engine braces. Now in some of the later years they got rid of this completely on this engine, and this cover actually doesn't have this little really kind of hard to see it there, this little kick up that mounts it. But anyways, that bracket gave me a good spot to mount the ignition. Wiring, I just rewired everything, shortened it, and it's not even wrapped yet, but it really came out clean right underneath the coil pack on this side. Oh gosh, there ain't a whole lot else that's been done to this yet. Just a lot of frame cutting, welding. What I ended up using for the shock mounts in the rear is some of the factory framing that was on the back side of this. I don't have my welds all cleaned up and painted, but that's how it turned out. Kept the same height. That is about it. Got some different components that are ordered, and most everything's here for it. Other projects that are in the works is I picked up a 78 CB 400 Hawk. It was a non-runner. The carbs were off and completely disassembled in a box. Took a little bit of figuring, but I got them all back together, rejetted and cleaned up. That's actually going to get turned into a little cafe racer. So basically strip the seat off, strip off all the extras, do some Clubman bars on it, trim the fenders if we keep fenders at all. So it'll get bars, seat, exhaust, maybe a different headlight, and of course different lights all the way around. And then I found another CX500, pretty clean one. That one actually found me. One of my ads online for my bikes guy got a hold of me and says, hey, I got a CX500 if you're interested in it, and I got that one at a screaming price. Just missed a deal last weekend on 3 CX500s. And then another toy I picked up just for the property is the old EX400 Honda quad. Well, I'm going to try to get some video doing on this, but probably won't be a whole lot because there ain't much left other than the clip-ons, a little exhaust work, carbs have been apart. It didn't run properly. It only ran on one cylinder when I got this one, or I should say when the guy got it. Pulled the carbs apart, extremely dirty, rejetted it while I was in there for the pods. So, I got to build a battery box for it because the battery's going to be mounted underneath like the other 500 I did in the last video segment. So there it is. That's where it's at now. I'll see what I can kind of include later.
Alright, well, it's a new day, and current stage, front end's back together, clip-ons are on, everything's tightened down, just trying to get it all set up for mock-up, make sure everything works. Bob's the one that owns this, and when I say I bought, I mean Bob bought, because he's the one that's ordering all the parts for this, as it's his bike. We tried multiple different ways to set the clip-ons on here to where it'd give it good stance for riding, most comfortable stance for riding, and still looks proper. We've tried them so many different directions. We tried mounting them above by bringing the fork legs up, ended up dropping the suspension so much that it took all the suspension travel out, and it left probably about, when he was sitting on it, about inch and a half fork travel. That ain't gonna work. So we ended up going below the top triple clamp and the bar tubes in the front side, because we flipped it to where the bar tubes were back here. It sat better for sitting and riding, but it just didn't look right. Exhaust has got to be done. Still got to work on the battery box, get the headlight mounted, finish up the wiring. And that should be it for the mock-up. Well, there's fenders to deal with. I believe he's going to do fenders. But today is going to be spent on the 500 underneath that cover there, because tomorrow is the Oregon Vintage Motorcycle Show down in Corvallis at the Benton County Fairgrounds. So, just kind of give you an update of where the bike sits. Not much further than the last pictures and video, so more to come. Alright, so I'm out in the shop again doing a little work on the Cafe racer. I positioned the headlight, just trying to get the right profile. I think that's the right height. Trying to line up basically the bottom of the headlight and the tank to where it has a nice solid one plane setup. From there, I also added the controls. He purchased all new controls, so the clutch lever, the perch, everything there is new. The other thing he picked up was a brand new front brake master cylinder. I don't know if he's going to replace this or not. That is bone stock. You can pick them up. I don't know how easy they are to convert over. I don't know if they're brand new, identical to factory. He picks them up through a website called 4-to-1. And what I'm working on now is getting position of the speedometer, where to set it. Probably going to sit down a little bit lower. I would like to have it mounted about like this. That'll kind of work with that little cutout where the stock ignition, can't really see it there so well. Let's see. There you can see it. Kind of sitting in this manner to where it's down. Fills up that space. And doesn't sit up too high, because my the one I built, I have to go out and look. Yeah, it looks like it's about like that. Sits up a little bit, but on that build it works out right and looks proper. On this one, I don't think that's right. It has to fill this spot up a little bit lower, which means a different bracket. I think, well, that's not quite right, but you get the idea. Not real tall. The Cafe chops the height of way out of it, makes it nice and low profile. And what I ended up doing is I used part of the original bracket from the speedometer, factory speedometer, and then the horn bracket, which normally sits clear down on the bottom portion of the triple clamp. Alright, well, I think I'm going to cut this video here, get it posted, as probably running long enough, and a lot of you are losing interest. Talk to you later.